Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Gray Zone Warfare. Now, I only got about 10 hours of playing in this game because I didn't get the creator play week like a lot of the creators did, and that's my own fault for not participating in those kinds of things. But I did buy the game and I have played it, and I do have an initial opinion on it, and I'm going to tell you guys why I think you shouldn't buy this game under certain conditions. But before we go any further, to all the people that are brand new here to the channel, my name is Gummerak. I am a variety streamer over on Twitch, and I'd like to bring you guys some of my opinions, and I want to thank you guys very much for being here. I apologize, in the last video I actually had sound issues. I was trying something new, and it was called ducking. It's called sound ducking, and I couldn't get it to work the way I wanted to, and I directly uploaded from DaVinci Resolve to YouTube because it was like 4 in the morning, and I just let it ride, and I had work in the morning, so I didn't check it until release. So after the release, it was too late at that point. That's a little sloppy on my part, and I won't let it happen again if I can help it. Last week, I told you guys that we had just hit a mile marker of 1,040 people, and for 2,000 that we're trying to hit for the year. You guys crushed this one again for this week, and we're now at 1,065. We also had lots of people that left their comments down in the comment section down below of that video. It was a lot of fun engagement. I want to thank you guys very much for that. I'm also a self-taught video editor, so if you guys see things that you would like improvements on, or things that just seem out of place, don't be afraid to tell me. I don't take offense to it. I'd love to hear your opinion. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscription button and hit the bell notification to know when I put up new videos. My videos are kind of sporadic at the moment because, you know, inflation period, everybody's working overtime at the moment. Whether you like or dislike the video, make sure you hit the appropriate thumbs up, thumbs down button because it helps with engagement for the channel. Now let's talk about Gray Zone Warfare a little bit here. Gray Zone Warfare is an intense tactical FPS emphasizing realism. Join a private military company to explore a vast MMO open world featuring a PvE and a PvP experience, and just a plain PvE mode if you want. And strategize and survive against human operators and AI enemies while uncovering the mysteries of Lemang Island. Now that's the actual description from Steam, and it's being developed and published by itself through Madfinger Games, which is a company that normally makes a lot of mobile games. So seeing them come out with a shooter milsim type game is way far away from their base, but not too far off from the fundamentals that carry them over for game development. With games like Unkilled and Dead Trigger 2, shooting games and zombie type games and games running through an MMO or RPG fashion is not unusual to them. They just need to apply it to a much bigger medium. But the real elephant in the room that we need to address is the mixed reviews for this game, simply because I just don't agree with them. Sure, the game is not in a completed status, but it's got a mixed reviews because of the number of people who bought the game thinking it was going to be a completed game. It's an early access title, which boils down to one of the reasons I said you shouldn't buy this game under certain conditions. And those conditions are that you are not willing to deal with the issues that come with an early access game. At some point, we got used to hearing the word early access so much around us in our shooting and games in general on Steam that most people have forgotten what early access actually means and what it does for a game. We used to get more completed games in early access, and now we get less completed games in early access, with the understanding that you're going to assist them with developing the game by giving them valuable feedback on the things that you find throughout it. However, there are certain games that just shouldn't enter early access until they're ready. Gray Zone Warfare feels like one of those games and needed about another 6 months to cook before it was actually put out into early access. So you run into quite a few issues. In fact, I took this clip directly from Shroud's channel when I was watching him on what he had to say when it comes to Gray Zone Warfare.
I'm not really into Apex.
Gray Zone looked like...
Gray Zone's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm gonna be... Alright. You don't mind?
Bad.
Okay, yeah, the game it looked like hot shit.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's in a rough spot. They know it. Everybody has shared their thoughts, and the thoughts have been mostly negative, but people are just being nice. They're being like, yeah, but like, dude, tell it to them straight. They got a lot of work to do.
Which honestly is the kind of feedback that these developers need, or any developer for that matter. However, it gets mixed reviews because of the number of people who just put, well, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, and I've refunded the game. Well, that tells me that you didn't even bother to read the early access at EULA, and you're not willing to participate in being able to report the things that you find in the game. Even if you don't report, you can't play an early access title and expect the smoothest of experiences. In fact, for 7 to 10 days prior to the release to the public, a lot of content creators managed to get their hands on it to be able to test it for them before that launch date. And all of them said the exact same things, which is the game has amazing bones. There's definitely something there for a game, but it was completely rough around the edges, and that people should expect that when they play it. Matter of fact, a lot of those content creators that live in that shooter space were giving the developers direct feedback that they believe that it should cook for a little bit longer. But instead of giving us the black and white text that the game has been delayed, the developers went ahead and put it out. And the issues that are with the game are pretty substantial. Even last night when I was playing it with Drast Gaming and Rogue 775, we were trying to just put the group together, and it took us almost 30 to 40 minutes just to get the group together because there were problems with the social aspect of being able to see people online. It required you to restart your game over and over and over again. The game itself has some pretty beefy requirements in either to be able to run it, yet alone being able to run DLSS is almost non-existent in the game unless you're running a 40 series card. Because frankly, the only way you're going to get FPS out of this game currently is by running frame generation either through FSR or DLSS, and the DLSS portion only works if you have a 4 series card. Server tick rates were not well on the day of launch as expected with most of these games, but even continue to do so with some rubber banding due to some very poor optimization that the company has already admitted to having. The wonderful thing about the people that are making Gray Zone Warfare is that they're very open with what they're doing and how they're communicating with the creator space and with the player base in either to move the game forward. There's a lot of interaction with the developers, and that's a good thing for this project. But I would be remiss if I didn't notate that it is correct that the number of people that are complaining about the game's optimization, it's just not there. So much so that you can even see us throw grenades and have them stick in midair and go off. I have a clip here from Drast Gaming where we were doing it the other night, and you can just see the smoke go off in the midair.
It froze midair.
It actually released midair too. As funny as that may be, it does cause a lot of the issues that you see when it comes to people putting in the reviews for the game. The good news to all this is not only are the developers receptive, but they have a proven track record of fixing their projects and developing them into better quality of life throughout its life cycle, which means that we're not going to get another piece of abandonmentware. The game also is very beautifully designed. However, me personally, I'm a bit tired of going back to mid-century weapons and Vietnam and World War II, and I want something a bit more modern, which I was hoping Battlefield 2042 was going to be until it fell flat on its face. The gear and weapons inside of the game are a little more modern than the mid-century that I was complaining about, but it doesn't change the fact that we're in the middle of Laos or Vietnam. And I wouldn't mind the aesthetics so much if the gameplay loop was a bit more than just tasking. Hopefully that will come later down the road when we start to get more things added to the game. But as it sits right now, it has the same issue that I have when it comes to Tarkov, and I hate making that comparison because the game is not anywhere close to being a Tarkov clone. It's really its own beast, which is what we need inside of the Extraction era, is something new and somebody else's take on it, as opposed to trying to copy Tarkov. That's why we have so many failures in the space, because too many try to be Tarkov rather than just being themselves. Luckily for us, the developers have a interesting idea for a gameplay loop, even if I don't particularly like it at the moment. I'm trying not to be too nitpicky when it comes to items like that, because a lot of these things will probably, or if it hasn't already, change with the most recent update. I haven't been keeping up on the news for it, so who knows? But we do know that because of the early access title, they're going to be cycling in new things and changing things all the time. So when you're listening to reviews for this game, make sure you're taking some of it with a grain of salt, because the content creators that are giving reviews on the game are more than likely giving you a perspective from a finished product, which it's far from. Make sure you're getting your news and things that are going on with Gray Zone Warfare from the content creators that follow early access titles, because they completely understand how early access works when it comes to changes, and that's their job, is to bring forth those changes to you in a manner that is easily digestible, because most of us are working throughout the day and we just want to get to the fucking point. So what is my point for this game? My point is that you should not buy this game if you are expecting to have a fully fleshed out game to play. The game is in early access, and by early we mean very early, and it's very rough. But that's actually part of the experience for the game, is being part of the community that helps develop it into what it's supposed to be. Think of it as you having a vision, and the painter is listening to you tell your vision and putting it down on canvas for you. I mean, that's an oversimplified response to what is actually happening when it comes to this particular title. But that's the basic premise to how things work, even though you're going to be working off of their original idea. But I do encourage you to at least buy the very first edition of the game and play it if you believe in helping the developers develop that portion of the game through building a community aspect. Thank you guys for taking a listen to my video on Gray Zone Warfare and what my opinion of where the title is currently at. And if you guys like what you heard here today, make sure you hit that subscription button and hit the bell notification to know when I put up a new video, because my videos are a little sparse at the moment. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Tell your loved ones you love them often. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.